Say it's the Hood CNN with your favorite Hood reporter, the Prime Minister of Hood Education, Dr. Monroe. Because I got a PhD in common sense and I'm a 5-star general. I want to say top of the evening to you. You know, I got two different ways to come at you on a daily. I can come with the War Zone or I can come with the Hood CNN. And normally when I come with the Hood CNN, I always put this up. Parental discretion is advised. I come to you tonight because there's something on my mind. I've been a little quiet since the election, and thank everybody that supported me. We didn't win, but we'll figure out what we want to do next, and then we'll go to that and we'll make some things happen. Hold on a second. All right, and we'll go to that and we'll make some things happen. So my political career is nowhere near over. Don't even think it. But what I want you to do is I want you to push the share button on this video because I'm about to talk about something very, very important. The Houston Independent School District. Right now, it is a total, complete mess. It is a total, complete mess. So you education advocates out there that's listening, you need to lock in and you need to share this video also because I'm going to touch on something. A lot of people have been asking me, they say, man, you have not been to a school board meeting, which is unusual for me, for over like 5 months. And I told them, I say, well, I needed to sit back and let some things happen. And then once they happen, then we can have a conversation about it. So I'm about to have a very serious conversation with you. If you're a parent in the Houston Independent School District, you're a grandmother, uncle, aunt, whatever, grandfather, a father, doesn't matter. Spread this around because this is going to be very, very important. We know that we have a superintendent named Millard House III, and Millard came in here unceremoniously. And I really think that they brought House in to placate the Black community for getting rid of the highly qualified African-American female interim superintendent that we had at the time, Dr. Grenita Lathan. They couldn't play with Grenita the way that they wanted to play with her. She wouldn't play ball their way. And, you know, a lot of people wanted her gone. I mean, she just represented the fact that it wasn't going to be some under the table money made because kids needed to be educated. And so they voted in House unanimously and they brought House in. I had a conversation with him, I think maybe 3 weeks after or a month after he took the job, a virtual meeting with him. And I think we were going through some COVID stuff, so it couldn't be in person, but it was a virtual meeting. And in that meeting, I told him that, you know, they brought you here to fail. Now, I know somebody going to get this video to him, so I'm going to talk directly to you, Mr. Superintendent. They brought you here to fail is what I told you. You looked at me. I looked at you. I know what I'm talking about. Well, over a year and maybe 3 months, I need you to look inside of your crystal ball, Mr. Superintendent. They have set you up perfectly to fail. They have set you up. Now, who are they that have set you up? Well, it's realistically Judith Cruz, Danny Hernandez. Those are trustees. Sue Dygard, your second in command, Rick Cruz. They're all in bed together. They're all in bed together to tank you, my brother. Now, I know when you came through the door, a lot of people told you, don't pay this dude no attention. Don't pay him no attention. But hold on, my man. I've been around this camp for 14 years. I've been around here 54 years, easily, you know. But I've been around education about 14 years. And during that time, I've seen a lot, I've done a lot, I've impacted a lot. But the one thing that has never been proven is that when I say something, I tell a lie. Judith Cruz, Danny Hernandez, Sue Dygard, Rick Cruz are your snakes in your Garden of Eden. Now, there's no way for you to deal with Judith and Danny and Sue. They're your bosses. Rick Cruz is your problem. Now, I know for a fact that 95% of the principals in the Houston Independent School District are unhappy at the moment. You have been set up perfectly. You would do benchmark tests. People complained about all the testing that was being done. And now you only do 2 tests before you take the star at the end of the year. Do you know how your scores are going to come back this time? Unless these people don't manipulate the system, they're going to come back horribly. And they're going to use that to get you up out of here. So I had a conversation, I think it was yesterday or the day before, because I've really been kind of kicking back, just letting my legs catch up with me, because I've been going at it quite a bit. And I said, well, today I'm going to do the video, and I've been procrastinating all day. So there are some things that you need to clearly understand. That men lie, women lie, numbers don't. Your numbers are not going to work for you as far as what it takes to operate the school district. The union came through the door and they wanted more money. You used ESSER funds to pull that off to give the teachers raises. But my dear teachers, when the ESSER funds run out, you won't have a job. All the additional personnel that was hired, all the positions that were created by Rick Cruz himself, you will not have a job. Now, they're going to tell you, oh, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Once again, for 14 years, if you can prove that I'm lying, I'll get out the game. And you've never been able to prove that I'm lying. How do I know certain things? I know what I need to know, and I never give up where I get the information from. You could put me in a court of law and threaten me with arrest, and I will never say where I get the information from. The whole thing with letting parents decide if a school, if they got X amount of signatures and they wanted to break away from the district, all that was Sue, Judith, and Danny trying to break away certain communities from the Houston Independent School District so that they could charter their schools. And it all works covertly into what they're doing. Now, which one of you trustees is in real estate? I know. So if you coming out now talking about we're going to close schools, I have a problem with that. Now, here's the thing. Wasn't you at the last meeting talking about you need monastery schools in the affluent neighborhoods on the good side of town? And you need monastery schools over there in the quote unquote white neighborhood. But yet you're putting out lists of black schools that need to be closed. Let me tell you how you start World War III, Mr. Superintendent. To even insinuate that you would hold a discussion to give these people monastery schools when you closed the district, not you, Mr. Superintendent, but the district closed highly successful African-American monastery schools. And now are talking about we're going to close black schools. This is how you start World War III. Now, here's my thing. Your biggest problem in the building is Rick Cruz. Rick's not on your team, dude. Rick is not on your team, dude. Not at all. Well, he's under a yearly contract that you don't have to renew. You don't deal with a problem, you eliminate it. If you choose not to deal with these issues, something's going to come up to where you have to be bought out. You're going to look like a fool. It ain't too many school districts going to want to touch you after somebody leaves HISD and they go screw up another school district. Ain't too many school districts going to want to deal with you. You feeling what I'm saying? You feeling what I'm saying? I'm gonna leave that right there. I'm gonna leave that on the plate. Those are my vegetables. I'm gonna leave that on the plate. So now I want to go and I want to add a starch to my plate. The inequities in our school system is ridiculous. It is totally, totally ridiculous. Hold on a second. Let me check something. I want to check something. Okay, that's the one that I need. Okay, let's put this down here. And now we'll close that out. And we'll take this and we're going to put this right here. Okay, so let me make sure I got it. Okay, so now I'm back. I attended a game for Jackie A. Senior High School football team. And all week long, we watch these kids deal with the issues that they deal with on a daily basis, trying to be a decent football team and good representatives of the community. And they are getting ready for a playoff game, as well as Booker T. Washington, as well as Sterling High School, Furr High School, Worthing High School, Madison High School. But I want to focus on Furr, Madison, Worthing, Booker T, and Yates. I want to focus on that. So now I want to show you a video, and then I'll show you where I'm going with this thing. Okay, so we'll turn the speaker on. Let's make sure we got it. Let's watch this. Let's watch this. There we go. Share a screen with you. And we're going to open that screen. And now
HISD is out for the summer, and yesterday was the last day of school, but not the last day of work for a pricey project our 13 Investigates team has kept their eye on. We've spent months telling you about HISD's push to make every school an equal education campus at HISD. The district calls that equity. Well, tonight, Ted Oberg and our 13 Investigates team has questions about how far the promise goes after finding out about millions spent on a baseball and softball field when others are in horrible shape.
The baseball team at HISD's Worthing High has to navigate holes in the field. The remnants, were told, of portable buildings set here while the school was rebuilt.
There was an estimate for it, $14,000 to level the field.
Why wasn't it done?
Well, that's what I'd like to know.
At Kashmir, outfielders better hope there's no play at the wall because aside from that construction fence, there isn't an outfield wall. And the squad at Austin High has to rely on a little imagination just to get to first base.
Where are the base paths here?
They're not.
But it isn't like that everywhere, not even close. Just a few miles away, construction crews are finishing up a $4.8 million baseball and softball complex for HISD's Bel Air High. For a district making hard choices to make sure an HISD education is equitable across all schools, something doesn't seem right. Not even to Judith Cruz, the current president of HISD's school board.
Is this equitable?
I don't think so. No.
Is it fair?
No. Definitely not.
How does it happen that one school has a $4.8 million baseball softball complex and you've got holes in yours?
That's a great question. We want to create an atmosphere at every campus that would allow the students to say, I'm proud of where I go to school.
To understand how it happened, you have to go back to 2012.
Houston voters overwhelmingly approved
HISD taxpayers back then agreed to a massive $1.9 billion bond program, one that would rebuild virtually every Houston high school. When they laid out the new Bel Air campus, there wasn't room for the school and a ball field, but there was soon-to-be vacant HISD property just a mile and a half away, and enough space to build Bel Air a baseball field. Between the HISD planning and negotiations with the city of Bel Air, it took nearly 5 years from the election to get a permit approved to use the property solely as a baseball field. 3 years later, after more negotiations with the city of Bel Air, HISD added a softball field to the plans. While there are 5 other HISD high schools within a 5.5-mile radius of the new facility and many more middle schools, none of them are allowed to use this new park, not a single one. It's right there in writing on the permit HISD agreed to when the city of Bel Air let them build for the sole and exclusive use of Bel Air High School. A few lines later, making sure everyone understands, spelling out it's only for Bel Air's varsity and JV teams unless Bel Air City Council changes the rules, and they have.
Please vote.
Just months ago, HISD continued to approve spending for the complex, approving nearly $162,000 more in architecture and engineering costs to finish it.
Motion passes.
It was just the latest cost for a project that, according to district records, went from $2.5 million originally to $4.8 million for the athletic facilities alone now. It's an 88% increase. All that, as so many other schools face such disparities.
I can appreciate that concern. I think that is something that we have to work on in HISD, especially, with a future bond, is the equity of our facilities. However, the public has trusted us to complete this project.
At other schools, that extra money just hasn't seemed to flow. At Austin High School, they simply had to scrap athletic renovations when construction and portable classroom costs went up. At Worthing, that $14,000 to level the field, it hasn't come through either.
How do you tell a kid that we're not doing that anymore?
Under my watch, we're not doing that anymore.
There is money left over from that 2012 bond. In fact, millions of dollars. Some of it could be used to upgrade those other ball fields, but that decision certainly hasn't been made yet. Ted Oberg, ABC 13 Eyewitness News.
So you saw that. A $2 million baseball field, and then they added an additional $2 million. And the board president, who was Judith Cruz, that was just in the video, said that this will not happen again. I want to show you something, because I want to speak on Booker T, Worthing, Madison. I'm going to throw North Forest in there. I'm going to put Wheatley, and I'm going to put Yates and Worthing in there. 7 schools. And Yates being the only one with an enrollment rate of 89% Black. Everybody else's numbers are nowhere near that. I want to show you something. This week, my beloved Yates Lions had to prepare for a playoff game. Playoff football in Texas, as you know, is what it is. Is just what it is. And unless you are not from around here, then you would not understand this. Football in Texas is king. The second season is what we call it after the regular first 10 games. You had Booker T, who was 10-0, going into the playoffs. You had Yates, who had to scrap, win 5 of their last 7. They make it to the playoffs. You had Madison, they made it to the playoff, had a great year, 7-4, if I'm correct, back from 1-9. The Worthing Colts, who have not been to the playoffs for a long time, those kids are really doing great over there. But I want to show you, we've shown you the $5 million baseball field. These are my Yates Lions preparing for a football game in the UIL playoffs on a parking lot because they don't have lights on their fields. Explain this shit to me. We keep talking about equity, but the only equity that seems to be apparent is giving the haves more than they will ever give to the have-nots. Hold on a second, man, because I want you to see this. These are these kids on a parking lot preparing for a UIL state football game, playoff game. Why do our black children at Worthing, at Yates, at Madison didn't have a field all year? You know why? Because they built their football field on top of an old bomb shelter. They didn't practice on their field all year because all of a sudden the kids are working out and big boulders are popping up. One kid hurt his leg real bad. But Yates is supposed to get a new turf field, and you notice with the Bel Air baseball field, the Bel Air City Council said that the only people that can use that field are the teams from Bel Air High School, varsity and JV. But what did they call the new George Floyd community field at Yates? You heard me say it? A community field. That means everybody and their mama should be able to use it. So you make their field exclusive, but you tell us anybody can use ours. Now you got politicians involved in this, Rodney Ellis and everybody else. Where is the outcry for athletics in the Houston Independent School District? Let me break this down to you, because I know, bottom line, you don't want no niggas to have nothing. You give us just enough to work with. And I'm just about sick and tired of our children at every single one of these schools that I name going through the bullshit and the bureaucratic ass wiping that the Houston Independent School District wants to put them through. Everything goes through a vote. So in order to give an additional $2 million, almost $3 million to Bel Air High School, somebody had to vote on that. But Madam President Judith Cruz, you said this would never happen again. Look at my babies on a parking lot. On a parking lot preparing for a UIL football playoff game. Now, we don't even want to talk about the conditions of the stadiums that they play in. You don't even want to talk about that. You don't want to talk about the deplorable conditions of the stadiums that they play in. You don't want to talk about the fact that your high-powered white schools, before the season started, had all of their helmets, and Worthing High School had about 40 to 50 kids, only had 19 helmets. Now, a lot of people will say, well, that's on the athletic department. Well, let's talk about the budget of the athletic department of the Houston Independent School District. How much money do you allocate to it? How much money do you allocate to that department to make sure that our children have the same things that everybody else has? Why do we have to go get a fucking grant to get a turf field when you rebuilt Lamar? You gave them a turf football field, but you shit on our kids. Now, I've been gone. I want you to see me. I've been gone for about 5 months, but I'm finna come back and stir some shit up, because this shit ain't happening no fucking more. If you don't want niggas in your school district playing athletics, then fucking say it. Fucking say it. But these same kids leave HISD, they go to Manville, they go to Pearland, they go out to Sea King, and they are treated like rock stars. But as long as they here with you, busting their ass, you don't give a damn about them. I want you to see it again. You had my kids practicing on a motherfucking parking lot because there were no fucking lights. But yet you got Rick Cruz inside the district spending fucking money like crazy, creating positions for all his fucking friends. But you say, fuck our kids. And if anybody got a problem with this here, what I'm saying about the disparity between white and black children when it comes to athletics in the Houston Independent School District, fuck you and everybody with you. And that's how I feel about it. Why the fuck do our children have to be treated like this? When the time changed for a playoff game, these kids could not have one single viable fucking football practice because they don't have what they need. And you keep pussyfooting around, fucking around, steady talking about equity and your bullshit. Fuck you and equity. I am so sick of it. I'm sick of it, and I'm sick of the people making the fucking decisions. Oh, trust me, she is. The comment, and Demetra K say, if Myrna is a black woman, why isn't she advocating for black children? She is. She was my opponent in the election, and I will give her credit that motherfucker stands 10 toes down for black children. And it's sad that we gotta keep dividing it in black versus white, white versus black. The black trustees are standing up. But now it's time for us to back them up. It's time for us to come out the woodworks. Mr. Superintendent, if you don't know who the UUAA is, the United Urban Alumni Association, tell Rick I'm about to introduce him to him. Because this shit ain't happening no motherfucking more. If Bel Air can have a fucking track, a fucking the state of the art, this athletically, Lamar got a turf field. Every motherfucking practice field in HISD should be turf. For every fucking school, every high school, it should be the same way. Let me read some of y'all comments, man, because I know y'all are just, I'm looking at these comments. Junior, what's up, 5-star? Keisha Jackson, we don't snitch, plain and simple. Keisha Jackson fires ass. Demetra K, for them to be in education, they sure don't know anything. She didn't even sound like she believed what she was saying. She don't. Judith Cruz don't give a fuck about black kids. Think about it. Austin High School is her school. Austin High School is predominantly Latino. But why should Judith give a fuck about Latino kids when she's a fucking Cuban and she's made it plainly known? That's why she don't give a fuck about what's going on over there with them Latino babies, because she's a Cuban. She don't give a fuck. And Keisha Jackson said, what the fuck? And Demetra said, basically, no Negroes allowed. Kenitra Walker, it's almost as if they want these kids to drop out. And Keisha Jackson, yes, that is what they're trying to do. Shaniqua Ryan says, exactly. Garrett Brain says, that's why so many people are moving out of the city. Shaniqua Ryan or have to do fundraisers than try to pocket the money. Keisha Jackson, goddamn right about that. That's awful. Michelle Henderson, they're saying it. Keisha Jackson, fuck y'all. I read that comment. Brian Gillespie says Austin has a track that is falling apart with one good goalpost. You see what I'm saying? This is how you treated our children. This is what you do to our children. And I'm going to be honest with you. I've been quiet too motherfucking long. But I had to let your district implode first. So, Mr. Superintendent, without being on your payroll as a consultant, you may want to have a discussion with me. And I can pinpoint every fucking problem you got and how we can fix every single fucking problem. If not, your reputation is going to be destroyed, not by me, but by the people who you trust the most. They have you set up perfectly. They have you set up perfectly to fuck you like you a porno star. So if you think HISD, this ain't an Andre Walker problem. This is HISD not putting no money over in athletics like they should be. This is what you did to our kids this week. And ain't it amazing that all of us that made the playoffs that didn't have no fucking lights and couldn't practice, all of us got our ass kicked because we couldn't prepare the way we should have? Enough is a fucking enough. It's enough. It is a fucking enough. So be prepared in the month of December to have a community meeting. I'm going to put it together. But I want some motherfucking soldiers in the room. If you ain't a soldier and you ain't ready to crank up no shit, then don't show up for that fucking meeting. But this right here, you're not going to keep doing this. You're not going to keep doing this. And I like what you just said, Demetri K. She said, sounds like the schools, BSUs, need to organize the Black students and take a stand until the school board delivers for them. I want you to see my face. Don't be surprised when every motherfucking Black athlete walks out of these fucking schools at the same fucking time. You got problems and you need to fix them. And you need to fix this district because it's falling fucking apart. So don't come around here talking about closing no motherfucking schools when in all actuality you plotting on opening monastery schools in the affluent white communities and shit on our kids again. No, fuck that. That ain't working, homie. It ain't working. So I had it on my mind. Spread this video around. I'm going to take it off of here. I don't have to drop it. It's already there. It's on YouTube at the same time. You see what I'm saying? I get what you're saying, Brian Gillespie. It starts with middle schools so the high schools know what we have. We don't even want to talk about middle schools because the Black middle schools don't have jack shit. We're tired. We're tired of you fucking over our kids. We're tired of the excuses, and we're tired of waiting. So go on and get your Negro pastors together. Go on and get your influential Black folk together that think they run every motherfucking thing, and now they finna run in the Hurricane 5-star, and I'm gonna roll over their asses. You either line it up behind us, or we'll come see your ass too. It is what it is. It's the Hood CNN. With your favorite hood reporter, the Prime Minister of Hood Education, Dr. Monroe. Because I got a PhD in common sense, and I'm a 5-star general. By the way, I didn't drop all my nuggets tonight, but I know far too motherfucking much right now for HISD to survive. And fuck the TEA commissioner and his little ragged ass too. I say it when I see it.